Welcome back to the Intentional Intern Podcast. This month has been extremely busy for me for so many reasons, with the main one being that I graduated this month. And in the spirit of graduation, naturally, we had to close out this month with another graduate. This week, I'm joined by Nnaemeka Ahaghotu, a recent graduate from Towson University. He just graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Business Information Technology and Marketing. And if there's one word to describe him, courageous is it. From Liberty Mutual to Citi, he has done so many cool opportunities through internships, extern opportunities, and more. In this episode, we discuss everything under the sun that a recent grad can think of when the question, what's next, comes to mind. Nnaemeka and I talk about his experiences as an intern, how he's developed his forward-thinking mindset, our shared importance of culture within the workplace, the lessons learned throughout his college journey, and more. For those who want to connect with Nnaemeka, you can find his LinkedIn linked below. Let's dive into today's episode. Nnaemeka, how are you?
Hey, Amaya, I'm pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking, but I'm very excited to be with you today. Perfect way to end the week. And I'm excited for our audience to know a little bit more about you and get to chatting it up. So I would love if you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, Amaya, thank you so much for having me. Y'all don't know this. I've been a fan of Amaya for a little while. Well, she doesn't know this, but I've been watching the podcast, so I'm so excited to be here. But yes, enough of that. Yeah, my name is Nnaemeka Ahaghotu. Most people call me Mecca. I'm currently a senior at Towson University. It's a school located in Baltimore, Maryland. Currently studying business information technology. Recently, I have been an intern at Citigroup up in New York City, working on business reputation risks. So anytime Citi had like a new product, a new sponsorship, my team will basically figure out, okay, how does this affect Citi's public image? I also did some marketing with Citi's para-athletes. So Citi, we have a Team Citi for the para-athletes where we sponsor a bunch of para-athletes for Paralympics. I was working on social media marketing. Fun fact, they actually used my project idea on the Instagram, which is so crazy, but it's all good, which is all good. I've also interned at CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's an insurance company working with like client onboarding. And I also interned at Liberty Mutual as a global risk solutions. You know, the company that everybody see on the commercial with like the purple and yellow screen and stuff. Yeah, I was intern for them. Pretty cool stuff, working on cyber claims. So when you think of insurance, we had car insurance, property. There's also cyber insurance. So my team will basically figure out, okay, what happens in the cyber attack and how can we best assess it for risk mitigation. Here at Towson University, I'm really involved. I'm currently on the program. I'm currently on the campus activity board as a program coordinator. So I have a budget of over. I shouldn't be telling y'all this, but I have $500,000 budget. It's a lot of money for a 22-year-old. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but basically my job is to basically have great events, fun events for our students. I'm also on the chief of staff of the National Society of Black Engineers, running everything logistics, and also was the vice president of the African Diaspora Club, which is Towson's largest Black organization. We have over 5,000 students. So that's pretty much about Nnaemeka. As you can tell, I'm pretty extroverted. I love talking to people. I used to model and I do write poetry to tap in my little creative side, but y'all can find out more in this episode. So, was that good, Amaya?
Oh.
Was that good?
You ate me
up. my bad. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm sorry.
No. That is amazing. I love, like, you gave us not only like your resume, you gave us your whole discography of like who you are as a professional, as a personal person, and literally even academically. I mean, I'm gonna have to take some notes, low key.
I try a little bit. I be busy though. I can't lie to you, but it's all good though.
Yeah, I understand what it's like to be busy. Like my Google Calendar, it's crazy.
You know what's crazy? I actually got introduced to Google Calendar this year.
Huh.
Yeah, like before, I was old school. Like I used to write things down, but it wasn't until like my homeboy he came. He's like, bro, Nnaemeka, like there's an app where like all your interviews, all your things can go into it. I said, bro, you're lying. He showed me, and Amaya, that app single-handedly changed my life. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's literally changed mine too. Even when people want to chat, I'm like, okay, can you send me a calendar invite? Otherwise, it's not gonna be on my calendar.
I feel it. Yeah, nah. Google Calendar. To those listening, please get Google Calendar because it's gonna save your life. I promise you.
Literally, please find something. And literally, it's the best when you have multiple different calendars. So, like
Hmm.
for my internship calendar, when I had like my podcast calendar, I would add all of those calendars and link it to my phone. So, even if it was like linked to an own individual calendar, I still connected it to like my main personal calendar, like my main Gmail where everything goes through. So,
Yeah.
it all goes to my phone and it's everywhere. So, I don't have to like search through every single Gmail to look for it.
Now, whoever made that app, like that person, he needs a raise for promotion. Cause that like that app really be saving lives. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nah.
No, literally. And I know you have given us so much about yourself already,
So,
but I do want to ask about your
so,
sweatshirt.
yeah.
About, it's got a prominent logo on it. So I want to understand, where does that fit into your career discography right now?
I got you. I ain't gonna lie to you. I forgot I was wearing it. I was just cold. But yes, I am about to intern at Microsoft as a customer success account management intern. Really excited for it. Working in the federal space, not commercial, but in the federal space. I start next month, and so I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah, like I'm gonna touch on it in the interview, but like I'm really excited for it. Never worked in customer success before, so I'm really excited to see what that's about. But Amaya, she kind of got the cat out the bag, so I kind of got to tell y'all. So
That's crazy. And I feel like every single one of your internships has been completely different. Like
yeah,
you have talked about so many different places and the different companies. And I think it's just interesting how much you've been able to move around. Like, is that by choice, or do you just decide, I want to learn more about each different part, even though it's still kind of like business specific? Like,
yeah,
what's been your path so far in how you've been moving throughout your internships?
that's a good point. So I'm gonna start off with a crazy story. I actually came to college as a nursing major. My homeboys know this. I came as a nursing major. So like I've been through a couple of things. So one thing I can always say, I've always loved talking to people. Like ever since a kid, ever since going to high school, middle school, I was always in a club, always a vocal point of some type of organization. So talking to people always came natural to me. So I thought like, okay, I can take that passion and go into the medical field, being a nurse. Because my mom's a nurse. So just growing up, watching her talk to her patients, how she used to move everything, I thought it was so cool. But when I came into a university, college, I realized, okay, this is not what I kind of want to do. Let me shift in a space where I feel like not only can I talk to people, but also be part of cool teams, create new products, and be creative and be innovative. So I said, okay, let's do IT, but I also wanted to have that business background because, you know, in high school I was a kid that sold snacks. Like I sold snacks. So I said, okay, like business also been my cup of tea, so let me combine the both. So while I came doing internships, I was in a place where like I didn't really know what I wanted to do essentially. So I was kind of testing out new things. So my Liberty Mutual, I said, okay, at first, I thought I was going to be a cybersecurity analyst. I said, okay, I'm going to do cybersecurity. I want to be in the cyber world. But after the internship was great, phenomenal company, great experience. But I realized, okay, cyber is not where I want to be. Now I moved into like, okay, I want to be more client facing. I want to be more talk to people, be the one in the meetings, be the one presenting. So I care first I did that. Talking to clients, that's where I kind of found my niche. Like I have a way with words, way to talking to people. Then at City, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nosy, so I wanted to get like a taste of the financial investment banking industry. And I love New York. New York is one of my favorite cities to visit. So I said, okay, let me figure out how can I also thrive in that space as well. So I wanted to be a place where not only am I getting experience, knowledge, and wisdom, but also getting like different perspective from just different points of corporate America. So hopefully that answers your question.
No, it does. And I love people who are like, you know what? This may not align with why I wanted to do it, or this may not be the main like reason of why I wanted to do
Yeah.
it, but like look at all the skills that it afforded me. So I think about that all the time. Like, might be a little nosy, but look at all the skills I got from it.
Exactly, and I do really resonate with that because if you ask me today, I still don't know what I really want to do, but I have an idea of like the places I want to be, the culture that I want to be a part of. We can talk about culture a little bit later, but I have an idea and different perspective from all these different industries, from insurance, from investment banking, that kind of makes me to who I am today. So
Yeah. And you're doing what you should be doing as an intern, which is going around, seeing what you like and seeing what doesn't.
exactly, so
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I started out before I was in HR. I started out in business to business marketing. Like that was
wow,
my first college internship, and then even before that, in high school, my first high school internship was in art.
really, how
Yeah,
was that transition for you?
I mean, I think because like my high school, it was a requirement for us to have an internship. So I didn't know where I was going to land because, of course, you had like engineering and you had all these like really cool places around us. But for the same reason, to kind of what you said earlier, of like, you have reasons where things like might just work out for you, of like, okay, I might be a little nosy. So I want to try this out.
So,
For me, it was I like being able to interact with kids because it started as a summer internship first, where I helped to like volunteer and I got to be a part of like a kids' summer camp. And I was helping them paint and all this stuff, and all their parents would come and drop them off and pick them up and all that stuff. And I loved doing that. And also, just I loved the building itself for the sketching pad. That's what it was called. And so we got to like paint on glass and we got to like screen print, and I just thought it was so cool. So then when I was doing that for the entire year, I recognized there was like a system to it that I like. And that's when I figured out, girl, we love a good system. So
okay.
that for me was I like being able to kind of do the front end and the back end of operations with things. And that's when I figured out, okay, I really like working with people, but kind of like in this structured environment almost. So then I went to school for
Okay.
anthropology.
Okay.
Did not know what I was going to do with that. And I was like in the middle of my life being like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I'm about to be a senior. We have done no internships. Like, girl, it was giving crash out season before crash out was a thing. So then I was looking for a job, and then USA Today was hiring, which the branch is now called Local IQ. It used to be Gannett when I first started working there.
Okay.
But then I started out in business to business marketing solutions, and it was not what I thought it was going to be at all, in like the best way possible, where I was calling or messaging people every single day. I had leads that came in. I would call them, ask them, what do they need, and then convert that lead into what could be utilized for like the sales team or like the account executives to actually follow up and make out the sale for like the advertising that they needed to do. And so that was cool because I got to work with a team, but I was also learning new stuff every single day, of whether it was dealing with different people in different countries in terms of like county wides. So it was like, for me, I called them countries because the different regions to me,
Got you.
it was like everybody was different. So I was like, oh, Northwest is Northwest. I got to know how to talk to these people versus like Southeast people. You can talk to them a little bit differently and understanding like the professional differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I came to HR when I found that that was a thing that I could do with my degree because of a
Okay.
class.
Period. I like that. Okay. Okay. Backstory. Nah, I'm messing with it, and I do like the fact that, like you say, you took them past experience. You realize, okay, business marketing is not really what I want to be it, but what components, what skills did you learn from that you're able to apply to HR? I really do resonate with that. And that's something that I tell everybody, that just because you don't like something for say, you can still take something, whether it's like a piece of knowledge or a conversation or even a skill that you learn, and apply it to something that you do want to do. So great
Mm.
point, Amaya. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think you do something that a lot of people are almost scared to do, which is like, if something is not directly for you, they will move away from it. But
Mm-hmm.
you gotta try things in order to know if you
Mm-hmm.
like them. And that can seem so scary, being like, okay, I'm doing this. I don't know nothing about it. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like, being a student is the best time where you have like the area where you can fall,
Yeah.
and it's okay because you're literally learning. Like, nobody's expecting you to crank out perfect work every time. You're not a full-time employee. You are not a hired contractor where you had to prove your skills first. Like, they're giving you the opportunity to expand and grow, not only professionally but just like who you are. And so for you being able to put yourself in all these different spaces with, I'm gonna call them Liberty Bibberty because that's what they are. And even with like city, like you were saying earlier, just all of these different spaces, I honestly was like, dang, I wish like I kind of went for some of
Yeah.
those opportunities where it seemed like things didn't directly align. And like, as I got more into where I figured I wanted to go, I feel like sometimes we can do a little bit less of that, where we're taking less risk almost. But it's like, the risk is barely there. Like, you're going to be rewarded every single time when you have an internship. It just may not be in the ways that you think. And sometimes we have to learn to be okay with going into that because we never know what we need anyway as
Sure.
students. So this gives us even more like insight into that.
And I really do agree with that. One thing that I tell like my mentees and stuff, and this might sound controversial, so you all bear with me. when it comes to like internships, corporate America, especially in this college space, in my opinion, Nnaemeka's opinion, there's no such thing as a bad opportunity. And the reason why I say that because whether it's like a diversity summit or a conference or even I know this is a hot take, unpaid internships. There's some piece of acknowledge. There's something that you can take away from that. Like transparent a moment. My one thing about me, like everybody knows this. I'm the type to like drive to like other schools' career fairs. Like funny story actually. Like the way I got my city internship is at Howard University's career fair. If you are not from Maryland, I'm from Maryland. Towson University is like 1 hour and 30 minutes from Howard University. That's from Baltimore to DC. And child, I was driving on the highway to try to make that career fair because in my head, like, and yes, when I told other people around me, like, they're like, dang, Nnaemeka, you're crazy. You driving 1 hour, 30 minutes in rush hour for just a career fair. Towson have our career fairs. To me, it was like, any opportunity I see, I have to take it. Because like you said, we in college, like, yes, we could fall by face. Yes, things could happen, but there's no real risks. Like most of us, are probably living with our parents. We are not independent. So why not take that risk? So that's my biggest thing. I tell all my people, bro, any opportunity you see, take it. Whether it's just you have a random coffee chat or something, even if you don't see the face value in right in front of you, something down the road like is gonna pop up from that. So that's one thing I do want to say.
Mm. And you have so much good advice. So I have to know, like, obviously you've been cultivating all this wisdom and all this game over time,
Sure.
but like, who has inspired you and like this mindset that you have? Where do you get it from?
That's real. First and foremost, what's inspiring me? This is kind of crazy. It's my peers. Like it's my friend group. Like I said, like the type of person I am, I try to surround myself with people that inspire me or like in essentially in some aspect do better than me. And it's not off no competitive or me trying to be envious. It's also the fact that I have someone that I can look up to. I think a lot of times, especially in male friend groups, like everybody try to be the group leader. For me, it's like, nah, I ain't trying to be a group leader. I'm trying all of us be leading. You know what I'm saying? So like that's one thing I always inspire. So my friend group, they're really my day ones. Like I have two of my closest male friends. They go to Howard University. Freshman year, when it's time for like when I came as a freshman, I didn't even know what an internship was. To be honest with you, like I thought you just go for a year, you graduate, get a degree, apply for jobs. I didn't know internships. I didn't know these rooms was possible. It wasn't until one of my closest male friends, really my best friend, honestly, he got an internship at Deloitte as a freshman. So, mind you, I didn't even know what the lawyer was, but he told me how much you're getting paid. I said, whoa. I said, whoa. Then my other friend also go to Howard, freshman year, he got an internship with Adobe. That one I knew. So I was like, whoa. So having people around me that are getting into doors that's my age, from the same background, from the same hood as me, to me was so inspiring to me. So I know people be trying to walk away from this, but for me, my friends inspire me. This is where I get a lot of my game from, just off conversation, late night conversation, and everything. And of course, my faith. I'm very spiritual. We can talk about it a little bit later, but a lot of my wisdom, the way that I carry myself, comes from that. And also just like my parents as well, like my dad, he's kind of like my OG. He came in here when he came to America. Well, if y'all don't know, I'm not Nigerian. Just throw that out there. But my father, he came to America when he was 17. So like he's been through a lot. So he has been. I'm talking manager at McDonald's, car salesman. He done all anything you can think of. My father has done it. So he has poured a lot of wisdom to me and just how to like carry myself not only as a man but just also like as a minority in America as well. So
That's real. Literally, I understand when it comes to having people around you that like bolster you up because it's not even a matter of competition to your point, like you said. It's like, oh, I need help with something. She know how to do that.
exactly. And to me, it's so important because I feel like a lot of people like our goals, our visions, our aspiration is only comes from what we can see. So, for example, like if I see, I go to Towson University, and everybody, let's say, for example, works at Essential. Let's say, for example, Essential Federal Services, for example. I'm thinking, okay, that's the only thing I could do. But if I see somebody from Towson University, same background as me, let's say get a full time offer from Google, now the vision is kind of shifting now. Like you kind of have to put your places in where you see these things to know it's achievable. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, hopefully that did make sense.
No, literally. Sometimes you have to physically see it to see if it's possible for you.
Exactly.
And
Like
I've
one thing
I've done that before.
like it's so crazy am I because like I said, I'm not Dre, I'm African. People listen to this, y'all probably have African parents as well. One thing my mom always tell me, if so and so can do it, why can't you do it? And growing up, I always thought that was like a bro, my mom is just in my ear. She trying to like irritate me. But as I got older, I realized like she's that like that's a valid point. If somebody from the same hood as me, same background, of course, like we may not have the same experience or same skills, but I do know what's possible. I may have to put more work in or put in extra hours, but in some capacity, I can achieve the same goals as that person as well.
And it's crazy because I actually was at an event like 2 weeks ago where it was actually at Microsoft.
Oh,
And they had a panel, and one of the panelists, she ended with her advice being, why not you? Like, just tell yourself that all the time. Why not you? If someone else can do it, why not you? If someone else has achieved it, why not you? Even if someone hasn't done it before that you've personally been able to align with,
why
why
not?
not you?
That's real. Like that's something that me and my friends we say all the time. Like, why not us? Like, why can't it be me? Like, why can I not pull this off? Why can't it be us? So I do resonate with that because I think like a lot of the things like it's always in the it's somewhere in the Bible where it says like have faith as small as the mustard seed. All you need to do is have the little tiniest belief that you can do it, and I'm telling you that that seed is going to now go into a flower. That flower is going to now go into a tree. So I really do resonate with that.
No, literally. I tell myself and my friends that all the time, where they're like, I'm not 100% confident. I'm like, girl, I'm sometimes 15% confident. Your point?
He's like, let's do it. Let's do it.
Like, I'm literally gonna be like, dang, I'm scared. I'm gonna do a scare. We move.
We move exactly. No, that's definitely real. I feel like a lot of times people just be afraid to take that risk, but to me, there's no reward without that risk. So gotta take that risk, honestly.
And I think back to, would I ever regret this decision? Nah, not even putting myself in.
Hey guys, y'all listen to Amaya is hilarious, y'all. Don't let Amaya is hilarious, y'all.
That's how I talk to myself, literally, because sometimes you can speak to yourself so crazy when you do not believe in yourself and when you have negative thoughts. So for me, I know like my dad, he always, grew up watching like Martin and stuff like that. And like my parents they're always very funny. But for me, that also translated into sometimes how I have to talk to myself where I'm like, are we tripping right now? And literally 3 seconds later, I'm in my head. No, lock in. Let's go.
Let's
Like,
go. Let's go. Now that's real. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, the best conversation I have either be with God or myself. Honestly, like if I really sit in my room, sit on myself, and thinking, like I'm having a ball in my head, just whether it's motivating myself, encouraging myself, uplifting myself. So now sometimes like this sounds crazy. You gotta talk to yourself, honestly. Like you gotta talk to yourself.
literally, you have to be your biggest hype man. And then, like Nnaemeka said earlier, like having people around you that also will kind of speak that life into you. Because sometimes I learn so much about myself when I'm yapping with other people. Like sometimes I will say things and I'm like, bro, that was a bar. I've 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 known myself for like my entire life, and I have never said. Sometimes some of the most insightful things about myself have come from having conversations with other people, and I'm
Really,
like, bro, that piece of advice I would have never been able to really like articulate it that way if I didn't have that conversation with you or this professor or this mentor right now. And I'm like, bro, we need to write that down because I need to remember that for when I need it.
exactly. I agree with you. Yeah, like you said, like it's good to like surround yourself with people that at some moments see more to you than you see yourself. Because trust me, like I know everybody, imposter syndrome is one of the biggest things that I personally face. So it was good to have like that community around you that uplifts you and be like, nah, Maya, like you're the goat. Like, nah, you got this. Like things like that is really important, bro. Because people we tend to like underappreciate that. But a lot of times, at least for myself, from my experience, like those be the words that best gets me through my darkest days or my lowest moments. So having that community is so important. Not just any community, but that specific community that uplifts you and also inspire you.
Mm-hmm. And to your point, sometimes like the world will show you signals as well. And I'm gonna tell you the story because this just happened to
Go ahead,
me.
I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Literally, I was so hard on myself like earlier this week. And every intern wants to be able to showcase their best. They want to be able to always put their best foot forward. And sometimes when I feel like I could have done better, sometimes it shows. And I'm like, you know what? I'm being way hard on myself right now.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I'm like, you know what? There is no amount of yapping to myself right now that's not gonna fix this. Like I just felt so bad. And I literally had to ask myself in that spirit of imposter syndrome, I was like, dang, am I good enough right now? Like, am I a good person right now? Like, what's going on? And I was just contemplating on that for like hours. And then I went into a class this week and they had given me a gift because I had missed like the last ceremony that I had for the organization that I'm the president over.
Okay.
And I was going through the bag, they gave me these nice plaques and they said, give me these thank yous, my graduation course. And I was so happy. And I was like, this is great. And then there were some notes at the bottom. And I was like, okay, I've never gotten a letter before. And I asked my VP, like, where's this letter coming from? And she said, oh, there was a guy that was looking for you at the celebration, like the ceremony. And yeah, he helped us take down decorations. He really wanted to speak to you, da 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 da. And I said, oh, okay. So I opened the letter, and this thing is like, mind you, it's like written on, like, it's front and back. So I'm like,
Okay.
ooh, okay, like, what am I supposed to expect? Is this gonna make my wound even worse? Or so I'm reading it, and it was actually a guy from high school, and he was looking for me because he had started like his master's program at Georgia State, and he was like, I just wanted to tell you, like, you were one of the best friends that I had in high school. And I just want to say thank you again for the memories that you gave me during our class period times. And also, like, we had the same internship, that same art internship. My mom used to drive us.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just want to tell you, thank you so much. You're a great person. I hope you have a fantastic life. And I was like,
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, that's lit. That's lit. Oh, that's just my heart. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's lit. That's lit.
the universe the universe gives so much back to you, like at every point in your life. And I think that's so interesting. Like, I can tell from you, like, you've always been in a way where you are not only a friend, but again, like, you're a mentor, you're a community builder. And like, hearing you speak that mindset, of course, in saying that, as long as you put it out there, it's gonna come back, and surrounding yourself with that. I think that was just a moment for me this week where I was just like, this stuff works. Like, you building a community or building a legacy for yourself in everything you do, whether it's you're taking those shots in middle school, high school, college, whatever. Trust, it comes back to you when you
I'm
do
back.
great things.
And I really do resonate with that. And like, it's crazy you brought that up because it actually leads me to one of my favorite verse is Galatians 6:9. It says, so let us not be tired of doing good, for if we don't give up, we will reap it. There'll be time where we reap what we harvest. And that's something that I always carry in myself, that no matter what the position I am, no matter what environment I am, Nnaemeka always do good. Whether it's something that somebody that's asking somebody how's your day or giving somebody a piece of knowledge. One thing about me, Maya, I don't gatekeep nothing. If you ask me anything about some advice, I'm gonna share it with you. It's yours. It's yours to do whatever you want to do with it. But like you said, I feel like there's like in the times where the Lord has blessed you, who are you not to try to bless others with that same blessing? Like, if you have a blessing, for example, this podcast is a blessing. Like, who are you not to bless on somebody else? So that's my biggest thing. And I really feel like I'm happy that you experienced that because I feel like a lot of times people tend to like shy away from that. Like, nah, like the things that are important to you, the investment that has been given to you, whether it's somebody's giving you a referral, a reference, something, I feel like you're obligated to do that for somebody else. Maybe not in the same capacity. Maybe it's not writing a refer for somebody else verbatim, but in some capacity, pouring that good energy that's pouring to you into somebody else or back into the world. So that's why I pride myself to be involved on campus. A lot of times people be like, Nnaemeka, like, bro, you have all these things going on. Like, why are you even still trying to be bothered to be involved? Nah, to me, it's like the same way knowledge was pouring to me, wisdom was pouring to me. I have to be a vocal point, be a resource to pour into other people. I don't believe in being, well, down in Maryland, there's a thing called being aliens, like being mysterious. I don't believe in doing that. Like, I don't believe in being unknown, being in the shadows, because who knows? Like, maybe you being out there can save somebody's life, can help somebody get a job, get an internship, or whatever the case may be. Like, I always be a point of person like, nah, be out there. Of course, don't have your business in the streets, but like, be out there, be a resource, be a vocal point, so people know they can contact you because there's like a word you may say, a conversation, piece of knowledge, whatever the case may be, that can really change somebody's life. So.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I feel
And
like I went a little rant right there.
no, literally, that's fine. And it's also the power of visibility. To your point, like, you don't get anywhere from shying away and being in the shadows, but also you don't get anywhere for yourself in that same breath of like, okay, you don't want to share things with other people. How are people going to share with you? Whether that's internship opportunities, whether that's saying your name in rooms where you're not in, like, all of that stuff comes back to you. Like, the power of visibility is so important in so many different ways. And there was someone at Microsoft who said, he said a bar, and literally, he said, us connecting on LinkedIn, he was like, you are now also able to do the same thing for someone else. And he said, reminder, like, we are not the gatekeepers. We are the conduits for other
Mm,
people to do the same. And I was
I,
like,
I like that. I like that. I'm writing it down. I like that. I like that. Yeah, with that, but I like that.
and I think it's inspirational just to see also, like, it doesn't matter what age you are too. Like, just
Uh,
seeing that people still want to make things happen. What they people want to do good all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be super small by saying, I hope you had a great day, or even saying, good morning, I hope you have a great day, or coming down to, the bigger things when it comes to, let me connect you with someone that I know can help you with that next step. And
yeah,
something that I wanted to kind of hone in on as we're talking about community and also just doing good for others and ourselves is also kind of the culture around that. I know you kind of talked about it a little bit earlier where you were talking about you may not know everything of what you want to do right now, but you know, like, the culture that you want to be in and that you want to thrive in. So I'd
yeah,
love for you to elaborate on that.
yeah, for sure. So first and foremost, I think you can tell of my personality. I really thrive in environments where everybody's being their full self. Like I understand corporate America, I understand code switching, but I like to show up to work being my full unapologetic self. Of course, like keep it like accustomed to like professionalism, of course, but like being afraid of saying, not being afraid of saying, "Hey y'all, my name is Nnaemeka," and I'm going by a nickname. It's something like that. Like that's really important to me. As for individuals, I really thrive in places where everybody has some type of motivation to them, whether it's like okay, like I'm working a job, but they're always looking to like what's next, like what's up, what else they can work to. Right, around like that, it kind of keep me on my toe. Like I don't really do well in like stagnant things. Not saying, like, of course, it's good to be. Sometimes it's good to be in the same place for a little bit. Sometimes it's good to maintain. But someone like myself, I'm always looking like, okay, like how can I improve on something else? So I really like the culture where they have that constant progressiveness, constant like, okay, how can we get better? How can we go from whether it's 2 to 1 or 3 to 2 to 1? Things like that is really what thrive with me because I've been doing that kind of my whole life, always figuring out, okay, how can I best improve myself? How can I best critique myself? What can I work on? What are some things that I'm not doing so well? What's things I am doing well? If cultures like that is what kind of makes me, it tickles my fancy. I can't lie to you. It tickles my fancy. I can't lie to you. And also like, um, this is so crazy. Y'all, please forgive me, maybe controversial. I don't like being in rooms with bots. Like I thrive on personality because like I have a very loud personality. So I like environments where not only we're talking about, it could be faith, it could be business plans, aspiration, goals, work. Can we talk about something else besides those things as well? Like I don't know, sports, music, like things going on socially, like things like that is what tickles my fancy as well. Where, because one thing that me and my friend group were big on is duality, which means that being able to succeed in the corporate rooms, succeed in the academic rooms, but also still succeed socially as well. See how them social skills as well, and also still have a good time as well. So I'm big on duality. Maybe you put that in the episode title, duality. I don't know, case may be, but I'm very big on that. Be able to like have both sides to you. Of course, like I'm big on like you can only enjoy the socialness if you're handling business on the professional side. So that's something I'm really big on, like rooms where we have both a good balance of both. So I know I said a lot, but hopefully that answers your question.
It does. And I think you put into perspective what culture means to you, and that it is a dual effort in
Yeah.
both parts. It's not just business, it's not just personal. That is how business relationships are born, right? That's how they're strengthened. People are strengthened when they start to ask, oh, what you listening to while you working on your expulsion? Like,
Exactly.
so I get it. It makes a lot of sense because I think it's important to understand that culture is not something that is just created in a silo. It is something that is created within a community, whether that is corporate or whether that is within your friend group, but
Yeah.
also how powerful that can be as a catalyst for everybody else in their growth and what's important. And so I like that you said, like, I thrive in areas where I can be dynamic, where we can go to talking about business strategy, but then we can also talk about, hey, what time you going to that bar mitzvah for that coworker?
Exactly.
So I get it. It makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of things that we're learning now in early career is really balancing that. Academics really prepares you for that business portion. And even still, like, that is tried and true by fire. Like,
Yeah.
you get the academic knowledge, but then you go into corporate and it's like, okay, this is not what my textbook taught me. But you still
Right.
have to get with the program. And then the other side of that is, okay, we got the business stuff down, we got the corporate skills down. Now getting into the social skills. So And one of my managers, like, she told me this. She said, you know, it's great, like, that you initiate lunches with other people and getting to learn about people. But the way that you can also assess your social capital is when people start inviting you to lunch.
Mm, that's a bar. She ate with that jump. She ate with that. She ate with
Like,
that. She ate with that. I like that.
changed.
I like that. Dang, that got me thinking about my like coffee chat schedules and stuff, everything like that. Like, now I'm gonna make sure people start inviting me to lunch. Like,
And it's stuff like that where she just shows me, like, it's not just a give or take, but it's also, it shows you what's blooming, what's
mhm,
blossoming. And then that's also how you can keep, like, almost like a cultural pulse on the
yeah,
company, where you know how things are kind of panning out or how things are kind of vibing, even from a business perspective too, because when you form these relationships with people, it allows you to also get some more insight into, okay, so this is how your job works, this is how it operates with my job, this is where these two things can showcase more of
okay,
the business scape and what that means and how we move forward from like a cross functional departmental kind of perspective,
sure.
versus just what I'm doing in my job and how it's successful, versus like what are we doing as a company and then how are we successful, you know, one team, one sound.
Sound, one team, one sound, one team, one sound, and like that's really just real. Like I feel like a lot of times when people look at like culture, they think it's just yes, companies have their established culture, but you also play a part to that culture as well. Like you play a part to that dynamic. Culture is not just one way where they just gonna do a bunch of DI initiative, ERG group, BRGs group. No, like culture is also how you show up to work as well, how you interact with your floor coworkers, the team around you, your colleagues. That's also culture as well. So I really do love that point because I feel like culture is a thing where people throw out there, but yes, they may say, okay, company have a bad culture, so and so forth, but also how are you also applying to that culture? Like, are you trying
Mm-hmm.
to change that culture? Are you trying to, like, what are you doing that makes as well? So even in interviews, when I talk about culture, I tell interviewers, recruiters, what I bring to a company's culture, what I could bring, whether it's like my outgoing personality, my smile, my laugh, like these are the things that I feel like, especially in early career, we need to think on as well. Where yes, we could walk into a place where it's a little gloomy, but you could be that light in the dark. So that's one thing that culture. I think it was a mentor that told me that, like, bro, like a lot of times the culture can be dependent on you, like how you show up. Like one man can change. Like I think everybody know that song, like one man can change the world. Like it's kind of corny, but like essentially, like one man can really come in somewhere and just change the whole thing up. So just kind of want to add that to your point.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's one man, one woman, one idea, one, literally, there's so many things that impact culture. It's not just, and I'm gonna say this because I think a lot of people think also when it comes to company culture that it is just solely HR's responsibility. It
Right.
is not. It is not solely HR's responsibility, because an HR team cannot move a mountain if the mountain does not want to move, and the mountain, that nonetheless the mountain is not responsible. Like, yes, it's
Sure.
going to be maybe in HR's like KPIs or what they're looking at, but if I can't make a person move if they don't want to move. And
Yeah.
so when that becomes a whole company thing, you have to also understand, like, there is responsibility and accountability for every single employee to make the culture what it is. And you would never know whether it's just asking one person, hey, let's have some time to talk about the company culture, or that is just setting up a team lunch or celebrating a heritage month.
Yeah.
All of those things together, they build what you have as a company culture, and also understanding what goes well, what doesn't, but also having a culture of honesty, transparency, everybody having that authenticity where they don't feel like they have to like slip their skin off and hang it outside the company's door
Yeah.
until it's 5 o'clock and they got to go home.
Yeah.
So I agree with your point 100%.
Now that's so funny coming from somebody that actually works in HRs, because that's how I know like you really mean what you say. Like like dog, like it's not just HR. And I feel like a lot of times that we look at companies' culture and stuff, employees or whether it's just applicants or candidates, whatever the case may be, we look at it as, oh, HR got to do this, HR got to fix this. Yes, HR plays a role of it, of course, but what are you doing to contribute to that? Like, for example, if HR is rolling out a DI initiative or like a heritage march, are you participating? Are you going to the events? Are you like, how are you also playing your role in this as well? Like, that's something that I also take in real life, that not everything is one way. What am I doing to the problem? What am I doing to the solution? How am I adding to it? So just to add to your point.
Mm-hmm. And I take that even in some things that I want for myself, right? And I'll ask you this next about when it's looking at my dreams. Okay, so I want these things. Maybe I know the people that can get me there How am I making my dream come true? Essentially, like, yes, there's some things that are unpredictable factors that I can't control that gets into, when my dream happens, where that dream happens. But
Yeah.
what am I doing? And also, it's important to say, like, even the small steps. So, even within corporate, you don't have to make big money moves, especially
Yeah.
as an intern. That's not possible all the
Yeah.
time. But what are the small, actionable steps that I can do that allow people to think of me in a way where I can make my dream come true? Whether that is maybe getting lunch with a VP or an exec, or that is taking on a new project. And so, even in my outside stuff for the podcast, am I reaching out to people that I want to have on the podcast if I don't
Mhm.
have any listeners? Am I taking an assessment of my LinkedIn profile, seeing how I can help people? Maybe it's one post a day that go towards, doing job searches. So now I do that every week because that was something my community wanted. And then ultimately getting that back in return, where sometimes I get stuff sent back to me of, hey, I know you send out jobs on Sundays. Here, I want you to advertise this job for us if you could. I would love for us to have some applicants.
Yeah.
It's things like that where it comes full circle in really figuring out what you want to do with your dreams, but also the action steps that you can take to make things happen. They
Yeah.
do not have to be like when I stand on my money 6'6" type huge moves at all. Like, you can do something so small and you never know who's watching ever. Like, that's why it's always like, even if you don't take a step forward every single day, just pushing yourself to do it, and even just telling people, like the right people, not the wrong people,
Of
but the
course.
right people, that this is your dream and what you want to do. You would be so surprised how many people, like, they'll remember that, and then
Yeah.
they'll hear something out in the world and they're like, so and so said this to me, let me
Exactly.
go mention that to her.
For her. Nah, that's real.
So I want to ask you, just curious,
Yeah.
because you seem like a very multifaceted individual like
Listening.
me. What are your dreams? Like, even if they aren't like full on, like, oh, by 2030 I want to da 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 da, or I want to be a blah blah blah.
Okay.
Just what is your dream right now? Like, what is the impact that you want to make?
For sure. This is kind of like funny. I actually want to become like a motivational speaker, like a public speaker. Like actually, like, of course, like I don't know if you know, ET, like the hip hop preacher, like Eric D. Like it kind of is something like that. Not as aggressive. 'Cause I don't think I got that like that aggressive tone to my voice, but I do want to get in a place where I'm able to pour into people. So like when I'm well off, successful, God willingly, like I want to be in the rooms where I'm talking to whether it's like young men, young women, young students, or people in high school, middle school. These rooms where I can inspire people and touch people. That's one of my biggest like post graduation plans. I do want to get into like philanthropy. Like I want to be one of those people. Like I go to like Africa, like help build a church there, build a hospital, build a school there. But also one of my biggest goals is kind of your question is impact people. So wherever like I try not to be so tunnel vision because I feel like life can like throw anything at you. It can throw lemons, apples, Starburst, it can throw anything at you. So I try not to be so. Of course, I have my goals, but not so verbatim on my goals because I don't know tomorrow. But one of my biggest goals, and I feel like the Lord should help me establish this, is inspire people. So whether it's me, like I said, becoming a public speaker, whether it's me becoming a C-suite executive, whether it's me, who knows, get into HR, I want to be in an environment and roles where not I'm inspiring people and impacting people and motivating people. That's one of my biggest goals. So whether it's like I said, it could be anything. Hopefully it's in tech because that's what I kind of want to be in. But I do want to be in environments where I'm touching people, honestly.
Okay, so TEDx hit his line.
Yeah, yeah. Like TEDx said, tell TEDx my line. Like I said, I'm a free agent. I was like, but not like seriously though, because one of my biggest things, like one of my biggest like prayer points is like, Lord, show me what is my gift to the world. Like, everybody, I believe everybody in this life has a gift, whether it's public speaking, creative, whatever, something you have a gift. I feel like my gift is my words and how I can inspire people with my words. So I just try to find any room and environment where I can use that gift and give back to the world because this world can get crazy. I feel like people need some inspiration out here. So that's one of my biggest goals. Like, hopefully, to answer your question, I know it's not by 2027, I want to have $1 million portfolio. Like, nah, like, like I just want to, like, it's really inspire people, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And I am the same way. We're like, do I know if I want to be like a CHRO or
Yeah, yeah.
not the moment.
A moment for sure. Yeah,
Hmm. But you
like,
said something really important about, you don't have your goals verbatim. Like, you don't have them like just chop, 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 chop. Because let me tell you, That was me. And that did not work out well. It's so important to not only honor your own journey, so not even comparing yourself into other people, but when you are okay with just having your goals happen when they happen, like you said, because I was full on like, I'm gonna be a millionaire by 22. I'm gonna da 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 da. I'm gonna do all these great things, and like, there's two sides to that coin. So if you are scheduling out your life essentially and like planning out your life in this way where there's no wiggle room, one, you're gonna get burnout because you're doing too much. As a person who also has been known for doing way too much.
Yeah.
And then two, when those things don't happen, you're going to be mad disappointed. And as someone who has consistently disappointed herself in the past for a goal that only she set, no one expected her to do this besides herself, it can crush you. Like, it is sometimes so hard to come back from something that you set yourself, because it hits different. Like, it's different when you, yeah, it can be sad, like disappointing other people, but like when you're disappointed like in yourself,
Yeah.
sometimes that stuff can take a
Yeah.
hit to recover from. And I'm like, ugh, just remembering that feeling of what it was like. But I love that you hold yourself to, you have the impact that you want to make, and the way that that path may be carved out. And I'm going to say paths for
Yeah.
you, because I feel like you will definitely have more than one path in
Sure.
this life, maybe even like all together. Sometimes you could be, doing your 9 to 5 and then doing speaker stuff on the side. I love that you emphasize the importance of, although I may not know when these things will happen, I do know what I dream of, and I do know the impact that I'm going to make, like hands down. Even if I don't do like these certain things, I know that I'm going to have the impact of wanting to inspire people and just help people move forward through motivation.
For sure. And like Amaya, what you just told me kind of like brings my point about, well, two words came to my mind: grace and appreciation. One, you have to be grateful to yourself. I feel like a lot of time, especially Gen Z, we have TikTok. Like, we have TikTok. So we see people at 23, 22, 21 drop out, Rolls Royce, but Benz is looking lit and everything. And that's great for them. But you have to give yourself grace that, yes, let's say, for example, your goal was to be a millionaire by 22. Even though you didn't hit that goal, maybe at 22, not to watch your pocket, maybe you hit 5 figures, 6 figures, which is pretty great for a 22-year-old. So give yourself grace. And which leads to my next point: appreciation. One thing that I learned, because like I always wasn't like this before. I was very like, nah, I gotta do this, nah, I do this, or like I have learned like the appreciation in the journey. Whether it's you like working at a smaller company that's not as big as like Google or Amazon, appreciate that smaller company. Appreciate the doors you enter. Appreciate every role, every job, every conversation, anything that you did in this life. Because one thing I learned, that your smallest W can be somebody else's biggest dream to accomplish. So that's, to me, kind of changed my perspective and learned that appreciate a lot of things that you have going on, and like don't compare yourself to what you see on social media, because controversial tip, not everything on social media is real. But we can talk about it a little later. We can talk about it another time. But yeah, grace and appreciation is two things that I have personally learned, because kind of like yourself, I used to be very hard on myself. Like, if I prep for an interview or internship and I didn't get it, trust me, I'm definitely gonna be so mad at myself. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm learning to like, Nnaemeka, appreciate the fact that you got an interview. A lot of people didn't get an interview. Appreciate they even look at your application. Appreciate that you made it to the final round. Think and be grateful for that. Nnaemeka, there's always gonna be another internship after. There's always something better for you after. So those two words, I feel like a lot of people tend to like forget, especially in this society right now. People are so fixated on, posting on LinkedIn, getting on these big time offers. Like, nah, sometimes be grateful to yourself that you will get there. You build it, so you're working toward it. Also appreciate the small ones you take in that long term journey. So I know I said a lot, but yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
You're saying a lot, but it's a lot of good stuff. Like, please.
My bad. Like I told her, like, bro, I be yapping, y'all. So like sometimes I be like, dang, I'm acting like kind of slow down. Like this ain't your podcast. Like, you got to learn to talk. Like, so like this stuff.
No, you're so good. And you just reminded me of something too, of like, sometimes we're always worrying about what's next, that sometimes when we think about like, dang, like what I did last week was something I've been trying to do for a year, and we already like, what's next? And I'm like, whoa, we need to like calm down.
Exactly. And like, of course, because earlier I said I always look to what's next, but that's just me to stay one and seek more knowledge and not stay consistent, not stay stagnant. Excuse me. But break to your point, like I said, I'm very spiritual, very faithful. one of my biggest things I realized a lot of times we're sitting in answered prayers. Like a lot of times, like back in like Amaya 4 years ago, who knows she prayed to have one of the latest podcasts out here. 4 years later, look at her now. So like when you sit and realize, like, dang, I'm currently sitting in the thing that I prayed for. I was prepping for, working so hard for, your eyes kind of open. It's kind of like back in the TV show when like a light bulb kind of came in your head, like your light bulb, like dang, like I really understand it now. Like dang, like I should take more time to appreciate because Amaya at 17, she'll be geeked up to see how she is right now. She might think you the coolest girl out here right now, and say with myself. So like one of my biggest things I tell people, I just try to make younger Nnaemeka proud. Cause I know like if he can see me today, he'll think I'm the coolest guy on the block. So we really have to be more appreciated because y'all, we have come a long way. Like, yeah, I'm saying a lot right now, but sorry, y'all. Like, just to really try to understand a lot of the things that we're sitting right now, we're currently doing. 5 years ago, we'll be excited to be in this room right now. So,
And that also to your point, like I love that you said you still look for what's next. And I want to be very clear with everybody here as well. Like you can reflect on what you've done before and be so grateful and be so appreciative and still be hungry for what you want to do next. Like
yeah,
it is okay to be like, okay, I got this. I got this. That's great. Okay. I want to plan for what is next too. Like you can do duality, word of the
duality.
podcast.
That's the word of today. Duality.
Yes, like how SpongeBob did imagination.
Duality. Not for real.
Exactly. So I don't want anybody to think like, dang, like let me just be like sit in this gracious moment forever and like not before. We're not saying that. We're not saying that. But it's important to do both. And I think sometimes, as students, we're doing a lot all the time. And we are not only thinking about how am I going to ace this test? How am I going to do well in this after like extracurricular activity? But also like, how am I going to plan out the rest of my life? And I think something that has hit me now that I've been going through it is like 4 years seems like it's a lot of time. No. And I think that's also something that you should give yourself grace on. I had a conversation with someone like I think 2 weeks ago where it was a lady and she had been working at her job for like I think 20 years. And I asked her like, what is her dream? And she said her dream was to work in something completely different than what she does now.
Wow.
Um, and she was like, I'm still figuring out my way. Like I feel like I'm so behind. Like, what am I going to do? And I think now, like for us, we're me and another girl who's also the same age as me. She was like, "Girl, go do it." Like, you
Yeah,
know, you've been doing this because this is what helps you get what you need at the moment, and that's great. But like, we can see you doing exactly what you said you're going to be doing. And she was like, "You're hyping me up." And meanwhile, we're like 25 plus years apart. But I think one thing also about just us and just being students, but also just being who we are in general of like with this demeanor, this mindset of like go after it. It is so good to have versus like having to try and like build it almost to some
yeah,
point where it's like you never know what's coming at you, but hey, I'm ready for whatever it is.
for
And you're approaching it that same way. And so I think you've dropped like so many gems. And you've also showcased how you are even excelling as a professional. So not only being multifaceted and knowing like you're very well rounded in what you want to do in your career from the point and the standpoint of impact, but also being able to have so many transferable skills that fit in so many different departments of business where you have proved your ROI in that you are a very good candidate to vouch for. You are someone that is worth investing in because hey, I may not have the skill in this, but I guarantee you from some things that I've learned, I can do that. Or I don't have the skill in this, but I'm willing to learn that. So I think that's really cool. You've also proved from your mindset as well, like, I know if I was a manager or director and you were on my team, if I gave you a project you had no idea how to do, I guarantee you would go figure it out. And you're
real.
very resourceful to do that. Like you're not just going to sit there and stick in it, but you build upon not just the corporate responsibilities that you hold, but also the importance of creating those relationships and really balancing the dynamic duo really well, because you understand what it's like. You've been doing this for a while, you've been in the game for a while, of understanding how to take those maintained relationships and really turn it into something beautiful from a corporate or a personal perspective. So I think I'm very excited to continue to see what you do and continue to celebrate what you do as well, and how you've just been able to position yourself through everything that you've been through, and even with just who you have behind you, whether it's your friends, your family, or your faith, just pushing forward and being successful in that way.
Y'all, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm always trying to make you cry on this podcast, but I ain't gonna cry for y'all. Like that was like I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. But nah, Maya, I really do appreciate that. But you said a lot of great things. But I think all the applause should go to you. Like just having this platform like this, where people like myself could come and say their stories, drop them gems. Like this is not easy because I have a podcast. I kind of know how it is. So kudos to you, Maya. I do know that the Lord has something great for you and something big for you, and I know like not only will you able to keep impacting people like me, impacting people out in the world, and also impacting yourself as well. So you keep doing what you're doing. And like something that Maya said actually leads to one of my last points is, y'all, do not be afraid to not know something. I feel like a lot of times we live in a society where we on TikTok, on LinkedIn, we see everybody is so smart, have this big majors, they can't even pronounce all these cool things. But sometimes it's okay to like, one thing I tell myself, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, that's fine. Ask me again a week later, I'm gonna know the answer that time. So like always have that ambition, that initiative, that dog in you to wanting to know more, seek more. So just because you don't know it right now, that is fine. And then at the end of the day, this career stuff, all this stuff, bro, this is a marathon. It's not a race. So yes, you may see people on LinkedIn doing this. You think they so smart that they know everything. You don't know anything. Let's check in 2-3 years when like the roles could change. So y'all, this is one of my last things. Like y'all, like please, like believe in yourself and don't get caught up in the now, but also have that far end future, like far inside. Like, nah, I may not be where I want right now, but I'm working to it every day to get to that point. So just want to drop that last thing. But now, shout out Maya. Maya, hey, y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Maya's my dog now. Like we locked in. Like he's my dog. Like we locked in for sure. But now, Maya, this podcast is a real good thing. I wish I had this when I was a freshman. Like I had something like this with people like my age is talking. So you keep doing your thing for real, for real.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
For sure.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Intentional Intern Podcast. We hope you're leaving with fresh insights and a boost of motivation to take on your career journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow, leave a review, and share it with your network. Connect with us on LinkedIn and Instagram and let us know your thoughts. Your feedback fuels our next great episode. Until next time, stay intentional, keep growing, and keep shining bright. See you in the next episode.